Good afternoon. In this video, we're going to go over this week's options watch list. Before I get into the watch list, if you're not in the room, you can find the link in the description of the video and in the bio section of my social media accounts. I don't really see anything on the economic calendar this week. I don't see Powell, I don't see Yellen. There is a couple Fed speakers, but we have them all the time throughout the day. They're always yakking, and they don't really mean too much. It's Powell and Janet Yellen that you need to really worry about, or Biden or something like that. But I don't see anything right now. I don't have anything on the bearish side. I'm watching a couple tickers that are beaten down for reversals. Now, if for some reason the market turns around and ends up dumping, or something causes the stocks to drop, I will change and jump ship and jump sides, and I'll get on the bearish side really quick. I'll try not to have blinders on and look at one side too much and not the other. SPY could just keep going. I mean, I wouldn't be a bit surprised if we're at 475 this week. I mean, anytime you think SPY is exhausted or stalling out or going to reverse, it just keeps chugging and keeps going. I mean, Vixx is, where is Vixx right now? Let me just take a quick look at Vixx. Vixx is still 16 plus as of right now. So, I mean, they could smash Vixx to under $15 again. Now, if it does manage to get under $15, then I'll think about that. But yeah, I think that we could see SPY back to all-time high, 475 or so before any real turnaround. But yeah. That's why you need to be in the room, because if something happens overnight, if news drops, I will change my position really quickly now. Roku is the first one I'm looking at for a reversal. I mean, it's been bouncing in this 270 area. Went to 275 on Friday. I really thought we were going to have this strong move. I think that Roku is going to have this $20, $30, even $40 move sometime soon. It's just a matter of when, not if. I think that if it does get over this 280, we could see a quick pop to 300 to 310 really fast. And Roku likes to make these big dumps right here and make these big bounces afterwards. So that's what I'm looking for. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if we're at 350, 375 by the end of the year. I know that's a $100 move, but this is Roku. Roku went from 335 to 435 in a week in a, let's say 6 trading days. I mean, $100 in 6 trading days. I mean, Roku, if anybody can do it, it's Roku. I mean, even right here, 391 to 490. I mean, you're talking 6-7 trading days right there. 100 points. So yeah, I mean, Roku could have a nasty bounce this week, and that's what I'm watching for, especially over 280 for push to 300 to 310. Eventually get to 350 and 375 down the road. Then I know Disney got hammered on earnings, and we were watching this head and shoulders for the longest time, and it actually played out. I mean, it gapped down below the area that I was looking for the longest time, and it did actually end up playing out. Now the question is, will it bounce? I would watch it over 160 for a push to 163. Now, Disney's one of those stocks where if it gets any momentum behind it, it could end up really taking off. So if it gets over 163, 164, it could try to get to 168 try to close the gap right in here. And a full gap close would be 175, 174. So I have to see if I would actually do that. Diz, definitely watching that for a reversal. Now another one, PayPal. I don't usually watch PayPal that much, but it's anytime, it's just like Roku. Anytime it gets a sharp sell off, it ends up going back to all-time highs. I mean, it dumped, came back, popped a little dead cat bounce, pulled back, double bottomed right here on the weekly off the RCT trend line and the 20 EMA, which is together right here, and then it popped to all-time highs. So it dead cat bounce, it flushed, and it didn't really do that well on earnings. Let's see. So they actually did pretty well on earnings. I mean, estimated 78 cents and went to $1.11. So yeah, actually had pretty decent, I guess. So I didn't really look at the the earnings. I'm just going based on what Toss is saying right here. So I would watch it over 210, Friday's high of 210 for a push to 220, 225, 230. So I think that we could end up seeing PayPal do a reversal. Now, I don't think I've ever traded PayPal options, so I don't know what the options look like, if there's volume, nasty spreads, or anything like that, but I would definitely be watching that for a reversal. Now, Target, I know, has earnings Wednesday in the morning, but if options aren't too expensive, I'll have to look. I would be a bit surprised if this gets a push and gets pushed to 270 before earnings. And if earnings comes out, I mean, they would have to have a pretty strong earnings report to end up making more all-time highs. But you never know. I mean, Target just keeps going and going. It's like Costco and just doesn't like to pull back. And when it does, even if it's a small pullback, it's pretty much a buying opportunity. I know we were looking at it right here a couple weeks ago and a few weeks ago, and it did bounce. I mean, anytime Target pulls back, it just recovers. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. UPS is another one. UPS, there was something I was reading the other day about truck shortages or something like that, or delivery shortages. I don't remember exactly what it was, but UPS was in the news about some kind of shortage that was going on, delivery drivers or trucks, or I don't remember what it was. So there's a huge demand. I would not be a bit surprised if this ends up breaking out. The weekly looks strong. I mean, it gets over this, let's say, 215, it's going to make a run to 220. Gets over 220, it's going to end up making new all-time highs. So I would watch UPS to break out. And I remember we were watching it down here too. I mean, UPS, we're talking about that as it was pulling back, that Christmas season was coming and was going to end up taking off. Now, I did miss that move, but I know a couple people in the room did make that play. So congrats to them. Twitter is another one. Now, Twitter is just getting... it kind of looks a lot like Roku's chart. It gets hammered, then it fully recovers. So I would definitely be watching Twitter over, let's say, 53 over 53 over Friday's highs. We're pushed to 54. 54 is where it's been stalling out. 54, 55. Gets over 55. That's where it's got room to actually take off up to 60. So we'll have to see if Twitter can actually make that recovery. Snap is the last one. A lot of these are social media, internet-based companies. Same thing, massive drop in earnings. I definitely would watch it over 55. If it gets any momentum behind it, Snap can make some pretty good moves. It gets over 55, it probably gets to $60 really quick, and that's where you get gap resistance. It might stall out, it might try to fill the gap right away. So we'll have to see what happens on Snap. So a lot of recovery stocks that have actually been beaten down could have strong moves this week. So that is what I'm watching for this week for recovery on a couple of those stocks. Now, if something happens, if Evergrande ends up having some kind of other issue, the market could tank and a lot of stocks could end up dumping. But one thing I like about Roku does not care about what SPY does. SPY could dump and Roku could pop. So it's done it many, many, many times, and it could keep doing it. I mean, look at the last few times Roku's been down here at the weekly 35 RSI on the weekly. It popped big right there. So I'm expecting the same thing right here, right down here. 26. Can you imagine having it at $26 and it's up went to $4.90? That's crazy. But anyways, that's going to do it for the watch list. Hope to see you in the room, and thank you for watching.